will march. We'll march on those routes. So far, the propaganda out there is that we have been stopped. We have not been stopped. Nobody has stopped us. The police have no power to stop anybody from engaging in a special event. And the protest is a special event. It is the duty of the police to make sure that they are there to provide protection to those participating and protection to those who are around the area where the event is taking place.
Is that not why they've gone to court?
They have gone to court
to get the court to stop you.
But they haven't secured any order yet. And so it cannot be said that we have been stopped.
Yes.
Or that the march has been postponed.
Yes.
Or that the route has been changed. Yes. That's the point that I'm making.
Right.
It cannot be stopped unless there's a court order.
Yeah.
And we will be in court on Monday to challenge it. And we are very confident that any judge assessing the situation will know that if you are really afraid of a coup and you are concerned about a coup, then let citizens express their misgivings about malfeasance of public officials so that corrective measures will be implemented to prevent a situation where the system will degenerate to a point where people will hail a coup.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
At you for a higher PENDREAM TV in Patchos and your first time I subscribe to channel no found Sabo I don't manage to set a the video be a tour. Ube first person I will share. Usha video new send a voice note to mine. I was 0277 128 777 0277 128 777. I be bo Achregana for you na. At you for yanko share and a video number.
Right. Oh no, let me bring you. Mrs. Mokhtari says hi.
Yes, she's been harassing me on social media, on my WhatsApp. So, this is interesting. Let me just, you've made all the arguments for and against.
Yes.
But I just want to see if you have a different position, if I give you a perspective. Let's say that I am a delegate, member of the Super Delegates Conference, representing Boku Central. And the Constitution says that I should be part of those who will determine the 5 people to contest for the flag bearership in the main conference. And then I go through the process with my colleagues, and we're able to determine only 4. And then I prepare myself to participate in determining the last one, only to wake up in the morning to be told that no, I will not participate in determining the last one, and that it is the National Council that will determine the last one. Do you think there's a case for me to argue that my right as enshrined in the party constitution to participate in determining the 5 is being violated by the National Council by, appropriating it, taking it away from me? I mean, I just want you to look at it from that perspective. Do you think that any member of the Super Delegates Conference can make a claim that his right to participate in determining the 5 is being violated by the Super Delegates Conference?
Reasonable expectation of that person is that I will determine the 5 people.
Yeah. That's what the Constitution says.
That's a reasonable expectation based on the provision of the Constitution.
It's a right.
It's a right.
Yes, accorded that person.
I give it to that person. But that right is subject to certain provisions, other provisions in the Constitution, i.e. ties, okay, i.e. national decision, National Council decision. Those rights are subject to all these relevant provisions in the Constitution. So if a reasonable person, like you're a lawyer, I come to you, the question that I would expect you to ask me is that, has that particular decision to determine 5 subject to other decision of the other organs of the party? To that extent, if there are subjects like us in the case, National Council, I would say that, look, you may not have a cause if you go to seek redress. But if it is not subject to anything, the person will be very right to say that, look, my right has been violated. So that is my response to such a situation.
Anyway, I mean,
all right.
in court we'll say the matter is mute because one of them has written to withdraw his candidature. So
he says he won't be part of something which is unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional. That's really his basis. So it means that there is a legal issue there that the party needs to address. Anyway, I mean, I don't have confidence in the entire process.
Okay.
And I have indicated that this is an easily fixed arrangement. It's an easily fixed arrangement because, one, who are the members of the superdelegates? Ministers, national executives, regional executives,
Council of
Elders,
members of Parliament, past national officers. Check the background of all these people. These are people that in ordinary parlance will be considered as part of the establishment. And it is not in all cases that they act with a reasonable degree of independence and autonomy. If I have a party leader who is believed to be leading in a certain direction, and I benefit from his appointment, it will be difficult to imagine that I will be able to exercise a reasonable degree of independence when I'm taking a decision in a setting like this. Again, the setup of the election makes it very difficult for people to really express their views. Why do I say so? You have a very small college, easily identified. So let's say Northeast, 27 people or 28 people. 28 people. Just 28 people. Out of the several thousands that might, in the general delegates conference, be representing Northeast. Very easily identified. And you say they should sit in Northeast and take a decision about Bawumia. Really, what degree of independence and autonomy do they have in taking that decision? Especially when you say they should remain in Northeast and take that decision. I believe that if they had done what in the past we will do, which is bring all the delegates to Accra or Kumasi or anywhere, and they will all vote, and the ballot papers will be mixed and counted, you are more likely to have a situation where people can really, truly, and independently express their views. That's my feeling. Because if you insist that they remain in their various regions and vote, it's an intimidatory tactic, because those who voted for and against an establishment candidate can easily be identified, fished out, and victimized and punished for taking those decisions. So right from the onset, when people ask me my view, I say, but this is a fixed arrangement, and people really won't exercise the degree of independence and autonomy that one will expect. So I think we should all wait for the general conference in November to really determine what the thinking is within the party. Of course, this preliminary step provides some propaganda tools for, let's say, Bawumia and his team. But there is a lot more work to be done. If within this, what I perceive to be a fixed setup, the victory is not as overwhelming as some of us expected it to be, I really fear for the General Delegates Conference. This one, you're talking about ministers, MPs, and then regional chairmen. All the regional chairmen are mostly contractors with certificates lying at Minister of Finance. All the MPs, I believe, I've checked from the last record I have, most of them, apart from being ministers, those MPs who are not ministers, are serving on very, very juicy boards appointed there by the president. As for the constituency chairman and etc., they are given the first option to refuse the various contracts at the district assemblies. And as for the regional chairman, they sit with the regional minister to determine where the contracts go. So these are establishment people. And I'm saying that even among these establishment members, the victory doesn't sound to me as overwhelming as it ought to be. So I really fear for the general conference, because we've seen that very often the establishment and the grassroots are not on the same wavelength, especially when there is such apathy, there's such grumbling within the party and within the country. I really am concerned, and I don't think that those who are part of the Bawumia team should be celebrating and declaring victory at this stage. And I also don't think that the rest of the candidates should give up because of the 68% that Bawumia made within this category. I believe that they still have a perfect chance of, showing up very well in the general delegates conference. So, if you ask me, I'll say this is much ado about nothing in terms of the celebration that I see around the Bawumia camp, and I think that they haven't done a really good job.
Right. Okay. We'll take a break. When we return, this Fourth Republic is about what? Some 30-something years old. We're getting close to 40 years. We're still haggling over demonstration and routes and all that. Honorable, your leader wrote to the police, I think somewhere on the 21st of August, informing the police about a demonstration. And the objective of the demonstration is to ask for the resignation of the Bank of Ghana governor and his deputies over how they have administered the affairs of the central bank and its effect on the Ghanaian economy. The police invited your side to a meeting. After the meeting, the impression we got was that it went well. Later on, we're told that there was a disagreement with the routes. The police issued a statement to say that you guys couldn't reach a consensus on the routes, and so they've gone to court. The court will hear the matter on the 4th of September, and they're seeking an injunction. The minority issued a statement signed by the deputy leader, which also says that the police try to impose routes on you. You disagree with those routes, you would go ahead with the demonstration. You subsequently have held a public lecture or a public talk at the UPSC. I think that was yesterday, as part of the programs lined up for the demonstration. And for many people, it appears to be a ritual. Demonstrators and the police, injunction, going to court. And people ask, in many jurisdictions, we do not see this. And if after close to 40 years of this Fourth Republican dispensation, we still can't get around a very simple thing like a demonstration. Yes, the demonstrators have a right. The police also say that they also have a right to ensure public order and safety and all those things. Something must give.
Well, thank you very much. We wrote to the police and indicated the preferred route of our group. We wanted to start from the frontage of Parliament House, pass through the Accra Sports Stadium Road to the Ministry of Finance, and then continue on the Kimbu Road, pass through Rawlings Park to Opera Square, and then end at the frontage of the Bank of Ghana head office building. The police invited us, and at the meeting, and I was there,
I was in the meeting. So I'm giving you first-hand account. At the meeting, the police said that they were concerned about the march to the head office of the Bank of Ghana because the Bank of Ghana is a national security installation, and that area is the national security zone, or it's a security zone, and therefore they will not allow us to march to the Bank of Ghana head office. And also, they did not appreciate the decision of the group to go through Kimbo Hill and then Rollins Park, Makola, and Opera Square, because usually during that time of the day, there will be a lot of commerce taking place there, and there could be some congestion and etc. So for those two reasons, they had an alternative proposal. We're all ears. Then they told us that we should rather start from Obra Spot and take that major highway leading to Accra Central. Then at that traffic light in Adabraka, we should turn left and then march up to the TUC building and take that road that passes by City House and continue through the ministries and terminate at Independence Square. That was the original alternative route proposed by the police themselves at the meeting. So I was the one who even raised the issue. I said, oh, but you say your real concern is Bank of Ghana being a security zone, so we cannot march there. But you are prepared to have us march to City House. Do you know that City House is a Bank of Ghana headquarters annex? They were sitting there. I said, so clearly, your concern is not Bank of Ghana being a security zone. Your concern is that you just don't want us to march to the Bank of Ghana building and not the security issues. In any case, our letter is clear that we're going to the frontage of the Bank of Ghana. Secondly, you don't want us to pass through Makola. But I and my colleagues here, we have participated in marches where we have passed through Makola. And we have passed through Opera Square. And we have passed through the Bank of Ghana building that you are saying today we cannot pass through. And we have terminated at Hearts Park and held a rally at Hearts Park. So what has changed in Ghana today that what we could do in the past, we can no longer do today? So Makola has never been off the limits, because we've done that before. Opera Square has never been off the limits, because we've done that before. And our colleagues here, everybody was there, so we've participated in all those demonstrations. So clearly, your reasons are not related to public convenience. And we said, look, why you are even proposing that we should start from Opera Square Circle up to Obra Spot Circle up to Independence Square. Do you know how much inconvenience that will entail to the public? Look at the distance. So we have chosen the shortest route from Parliament House to the Bank of Ghana building with what we believe will be minimal, disruption of public activity and inconvenience to the public. And also we've chosen routes that we believe the streets are broad enough to be able to support the crowd, and then it will be easy for you to police the march. So we are not convinced about the reasons. Then they responded that, well, the situation in Ghana was different when we could demonstrate along those routes. Today the situation has changed. And we said, well, the capacity of the police service at that time was equally different. Today the capacity of the police service, we believe, has improved. Your personnel strength has improved. Your equipment stock has improved, because we have been approving the budget for you in Parliament, so we know what you have. And so we think that it would be scandalous for you to tell us that what you could do 5, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, you can't do them today. So we're not ready to accept your reasons. We're going to insist on our route,
And it is your constitutional responsibility, given your personnel and capacity, to go and make arrangements for us to be able to do it safely. So on that note, we left. And that was why we said the meeting was cordial, and etc. When we left, they issued a statement in which they prescribed a completely different route from what we had even discussed. They issued a statement saying that they were only allowing us to start from Parliament House and terminate at Independence Square. So, but in fact, at the meeting, when they even said we should terminate at Independence Square, start from Circle area and terminate at Independence Square, we said, look, our march has nothing to do with the independence of Ghana. Our march is about the performance of the central bank. So the communication is about a central bank governor and his deputies and board that have failed the people of Ghana. And so the building itself is the subject of the speech. So if you take the building out, the speech will be distorted. So we will not go to anywhere other than the central bank building to say that we are dissatisfied with the work that you are doing in this building. So they issued a statement redirecting us from Parliament House to the Independence Square. So what is this? So it is on the strength of the statement they issued, saying that they will only allow us to march from Parliament House to Independence Square, that we also said we are not moving an inch. Even that wasn't discussed. And so you've exercised bad faith. You clearly are in collaboration with whoever it is just to stop us from demonstrating, and that your real concerns are not issues of public order and etc. In any case,
I'm told they raised issues of terrorist activities.
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
At that meeting, those were not the prominent issues. Okay? It is when we also issued a statement rejecting their proposed route from Parliament House to Independence Square, then they ran to court, and in the affidavit, they then raised the issues of military coups, terrorism, and etc. And then, the situation in Burkina Faso, how the situation in Burkina Faso relates to Ghanaians marching from Parliament House to the Bank of Ghana head office, I can't understand. How the situation in Niger should prevent a Ghanaian to march from Parliament House to the Central Bank building to express his or her disagreement with the mismanagement that is taking place there. I don't understand. So we're there when they ran to court, and then we saw the affidavit attached to their application to the High Court. And in that affidavit, they were now raising issues about security zone, and there's no law which they found their case on that says that the Central Bank building is a security zone. And we told them that there's a contradiction here. You are willing to let us march to City Hall, which is a Central Bank office building, but you don't see that as a security zone. You think that the office where the governor, his deputies, who you know are the target of the demonstration, are sitting, that one is a security zone. And they now say that terrorism and then military coups are happening all over West Africa, and then they have intelligence. Where they are getting that intelligence, I don't understand. Look, in the first place, we all know that nobody in this country has raised a finger against this demonstration. So where their intelligence is coming from, I don't understand. If you recall Kumi Preko, there were groups that were also threatening to carry out counter demonstration, if you recall. I was there. And so right from the onset, there were threats to the demonstrators. But even then, the demonstrations took place. Here, so far, I've not heard any single Ghanaian say that they are against us marching from Parliament House to the Bank of Ghana building. So tell me where the threat is coming from, and tell me how you have gathered intelligence that shows that the demonstrations will turn violent, and therefore public safety and order will be threatened. That's the first question that I asked, and I don't have answers. Secondly, who says that the market women at Makola and the shop owners at Opera Square feel that this march
Opera Square,
because that's where they are against us passing through, and Rollins Park, who says that these people who are the ones suffering most from the bad policies of the central bank, who says that they are against us marching past their shops to go and express their suffering to the governor and his deputies? Who says they are against it? In fact, who even says that when we are marching, they won't join us? Because if anybody is feeling the effects of the bad monetary policies of the central bank governor, it is the women at Makola. Because they are the ones who every single day, and sometimes within a day, have to do the mathematics of adjusting their prices to meet the dollar rate of that day. Because they're going to go and buy their goods in dollars. So if the dollar is 1 to 20 Ghana cedis today, and then by midday they hear that it is 1 to 25 Ghana cedis, they will have to correspondingly calculate and adjust their prices in order that when they sell, they will still have enough capital to go back to China or Europe or America or wherever they are buying their goods from to buy those goods. They are the ones who see the faces of consumers when they come and then they ask the price and they are told that something that the consumer knew yesterday was 2 cedis has suddenly become 4 cedis. In fact, sometimes the fight is between the shop owner, the sales girl, and the consumer, because the consumer thinks that they are trying to defraud him. Yesterday he came and checked and the price was 2 cedis. How is it that today it is 4 cedis? And the shop owner is trying to explain how the change in dollar and the devaluation of the cedi and etc. has affected the price. So these are actually the people who have an interest in this particular protest march. And all I see is that the police and those who are behind them trying to frustrate this peaceful expression of public revulsion against the gross mismanagement of the governor and his deputies are seeking to prevent the voices of these market women from being heard. Since we announced this protest march, so many civil society organizations have expressed their support and their willingness to participate. And I'm very confident that the market women at Makola, the traders at Opera Square, and the hawkers and everybody along that route is looking forward to this march so that at least they can also participate and express their revulsion. And that is why we have taken a position that we will march on those routes. So far, the propaganda out there is that we have been stopped. We have not been stopped. Nobody has stopped us. The police have no power to stop anybody from engaging in a special event. And the protest is a special event. It is the duty of the police to make sure that they are there to provide protection to those participating and protection to those who are around the area where the event is taking place.
Is that not why they've gone to court?
They have gone to court
to get a court to stop you.
But they haven't secured any order yet. And so it cannot be said that we have been stopped.
Yes.
Or that the march has been postponed.
Yes.
Or that the route has been changed. Yes. That's the point that I'm making.
Right.
It cannot be stopped unless there's a court order.
Yeah.
And we will be in court on Monday to challenge it. And we are very confident that any judge assessing the situation will know that if you are really afraid of a coup and you are concerned about a coup, then let citizens express their misgivings about malfeasance of public officials so that corrective measures will be implemented to prevent a situation where the system will degenerate to a point where people will hail a coup. And that is why democratic freedoms are enshrined. And you must have very, very serious reasons and considerations to get a court to prevent people from demonstrating or demonstrating along a certain route. And I keep saying that those of us who have organized a public protest, we have a greater interest in the protest being peaceful and successful than the police. Because it is our reputation on the line. It is our reputation on the line. All demonstrations that I have participated in fact, it is the police that we are watching. Yes, it is the police because they are part of the establishment. That's how we perceive them. We perceive them as being part of the establishment. And therefore, they will engage in conduct that would rather cause some disorder so that they will blame it on we, the demonstrators. So when we go for demonstration, we watch the police more than we watch ourselves. So we have our cameras positioned everywhere throughout the route, capturing every single angle of the protest march, so that in case the police come up and make any complaint of disorder, we'll have the evidence to show how it started, who caused it, at what point. So don't think that we are just marching blindly. We are equally marching with one of the most sophisticated security setup to monitor ourselves, monitor the police, monitor anybody along that route, so that every single moment of the march is adequately captured. This is how we organize the demonstrations. People don't think we just march on the streets. So we have a greater interest in the security, the peacefulness, the orderliness, because our reputations are also on the line. So the police can't come and tell us that they all of a sudden have a higher mechanism for assessing security threats and threats to public order and disorder, and then they can prescribe where people can march and not march in this country. We will march.
All right. I know you won't march with them, but...
Yeah, Doc, you see, the issue about the march and then I would first and foremost say that the police, together with the demonstrators, should come to a consensus for them to have an acceptable route for the demonstration.
Okay.
Because the purpose of the demonstration is to express their dissatisfaction with how governance at the central bank is being held or is done. And to that extent, it is within their right to actually come out as part of their responsibility and rights as citizens to express their misgiving if they feel strongly about them. And I think that as a democracy that we practice, demonstrations, protests should be allowed unimpeded, and any attempt to restrain any peaceful demonstration is going to be a blot on the democratic tenets of our country. And to that very extent, for me, I will not want any attempt to inhibit demonstration. But that said, demonstrations should also be done taking into consideration public safety, law and order. And that is essentially the reason why we have the Public Order Act. And the demonstrators have actually started with the respect for that particular order by writing to the police, seeking for, if you like, giving them notice and police protection to carry on with the process peacefully. But the issues raised by the police, are they genuine? I think in all sincerity, they are genuine concerns. And the options, are they, I mean, the options provided, Lawyer Ayariga mentioned about the fact that the options given are having the same encumbrances, if you like the previous one we have asked, I mean, the previous route we had so determined. Okay, so your option is no option. Probably the reason why the police came back with a different option, because probably they had not adverted their mind to the implication of even passing through the city house. When you drew their attention to that, they feel like, okay, the city house too, on the strength of the same reason, we may not pass there. But for me, no one dare say that central bank is not a security installation. Okay, that place, the precinct of central bank, at least, I would say 100-meter radius around the whole of that building should not any, I mean, the public, unless of course you have legitimate business to transact with the bank, you should not be allowed near that place, because that is the heart of the monetary policy of our country. That is the heart of our value as a nation, the currency that we travel, the medium of exchange where we thrive in our relationship, international relations and domestic. That is the heart of it. Okay, a currency is the single most determinant of a country's sovereignty. Okay, and to that extent, the central bank installation, everything within it is a security installation. Can we still express our dissatisfaction? Can we express our unhappiness with the situation or status quo, still using different rules? I think the choice of rules and the expression of your dissatisfaction are mutually exclusive. Okay, you don't need to necessarily go to the central bank, the president of the central bank, to show that you have actually have issues against the central bank. You don't need to. So at the end of the day, my only prayer is that both parties should come to consensus on amicable or appropriate or acceptable route. A route that will not impede businesses, that will not cause unnecessary traffic, so that other genuine and fair-minded Ghanaians can carry on with their business without being impeded by demonstrators. Because the right to demonstrate is to the extent of the limit provided by the law. Okay, so if any demonstration is going to injure public order, it's going to be against public, even public morality, the police have reasons to raise issues with them. And I'm happy that the police is not saying that don't go. They are going to the court for direction, for guidance. If the court decides that, look, the position of the police is right, if the demonstrator wants to go with the demonstration past the acceptable route as provided by the police, I will urge the demonstrators to do same. We shouldn't be on a situation or on a path like, look, we either go through the route we want or we go through that route. That will not help us. And I'm happy that at least the leaders of the demonstration are actually showing some kind of level-headedness, and they are trying to go by the way. And I'm happy that he mentioned specifically that it is in their interest to ensure that they have a peaceful demonstration. To what end will this demonstration serve? It's a different discussion. But the very opportunity given to the citizens to express their dissatisfaction in itself is something that we should encourage. And I'm very, very much in support of any attempt to express your dissatisfaction. Is that the right process? I've argued that that's not the right process if you actually want to get the result that you want. But for politics, the antics of it, and Mr. Ayariga is very good at organizing political events. He's very good at that, using the law to push a political agenda. I will not take away that from him. Okay, but are you really seeking to get the governor of central bank be removed, or you are just trying to demonstrate, to show to the Ghanaian people that you are not happy with the status quo? If that is the extent, just to show your dissatisfaction, I'm okay. It is the right, legitimate process to take. But I have always argued, if you want to get the result, if you sincerely think that something is wrong with the country, with the management of the central bank, the law has provided very legitimate, very effective, and very results-oriented ways of getting your results. And they should reflect on those avenues to ensure that they get what they want. You see, this is an issue for the police and the demonstrators. And they have, I'm happy, the NDC, who are the leaders of this, they have absolute faith in the IGP. To the extent that when there was an audio going around, they came to the defense of the IGP and said this IGP is the most effective. So if the same effective person is giving you guidance, I will expect that they listen to the guidance of that IGP, because you believe that the IGP will not do anything, and he's now categorizing the IGP as part of the establishment. So, I mean, while brave, he is independent, he should not be sacked, government shouldn't do anything about him, and then General Secretary, the chairman of the party, has come to the defense of the IGP. I don't have position on this issue, but I think that the same faith you have in that IGP, who is now given direction, that this demonstration will be organized orderly in a particular way, you should equally have faith in him. You shouldn't try to lump him or the institution of the police service with that of government. We will leave it, as someone in government, we will leave it for the determination of the police, the court, and the demonstrators. And if the appropriate route is determined, they should be allowed, unimpeded, to go on with the demonstration, demonstrate that they are not happy, whether good or bad, whether legitimate or not. They have every right to express that view. That is not to suggest that I side with the concerns raised by the minority or the leadership of the demonstration, that the issues they are raising are legitimate. Without any fear of imagination, the basis for the demonstration is absolutely zero. There's no basis for that demonstration, because the fact that the central bank has incur loss and shouldn't be making laws is your basis for demonstration. Okay, when we have institutions, just like also corporate institutions, registering losses, no one has gone for their heads. Okay, so the basis itself, I feel it is problematic, but the democratic right to demonstrate should not be taken away from any of the demonstrators. And I disagree completely with the basis for the demonstration, but I think that in democracy, as is it Kokibaku will say, in democracy we allow ugly noises are allowed. Okay, and you may not like.
He prefers
ugly noises
to the culture of silence.
Culture of silence. So that is essentially what they are doing, and I agree with them. People have made issue about coup. How does it? This has nothing to do with the coup of the country. Okay.
There's the police.
The police say they have intelligence that the demonstration will be used as a conduit to perpetrate other illegality. Simply put. And to the extent of that intelligence that we are mindful of the routes that you want to take. And we've had organizing a very peaceful demonstration, but actors or elements within that particular group have taken the law into their own hands, which the organizers don't have control over.
Because the pendulum swings, do you appreciate the fact that if such claims by the police are not interrogated and are allowed to be done under the cloak of intelligence and national security, it could be used every day? In fact, yesterday, I told the panel that I asked them whether if you intend to demonstrate from this building to Alisa Hotel, whether the police cannot tell you that they have intelligence to show that some people will take advantage of that to do things that have implications of national security.
Yeah, I think that disclosure to the extent, without limiting, exposing certain crucial national security should be encouraged. That the police should be forthcoming, at least if you can trust the leadership of the demonstration, to disclose to the extent possible the things that we have picked. And that on the basis of that, we are urging you to tell your members that we don't want this route acceptable. Because we shouldn't give the police, as it were, unfettered right to determine whether or not demonstrations should be held or not. Because when you give them unfettered right, it is actually, you are not promoting democracy. So interrogating it, I very much agree with the fact that we should interrogate reasons raised by the police. But we should not be very strict and very, if you like, we don't want to shift grounds on the position we have taken. If they provide a reasonable explanation that we feel that based on the reason of the argument made by the police, we can alter the route. We can get an alternative route, fair and good. But I feel like demonstrators being very strong on their position, feeling that we cannot do anything. And you see,
Let me ask a question. If Ghana believes that together with other West African countries, it can be able to go into Niger and oust the regime in their own territory, what do we say to a security apparatus that makes a claim that suggests that it will not be able to police a demonstration
less than 2 kilometers
in Accra, and that it will not have the capacity to ensure that coupists and terrorists do not infiltrate into this demonstration? What does that say about our preparedness and our competence as far as the security architecture is concerned?
Doc, the police is not saying that they don't have the capacity to manage.
No, I'm just looking at the implication.
That's what they said.
No.
That was what they said. And that is why we told them at the meeting that, look, we know you. We know your capacity. The route that you are against us marching, we have marched there before with you.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And you gave us security and we marched there successfully.
Yes.
So what has changed? Because for us, you should even be able to do it better today because your numbers are even more. than 4 or 5 years ago when we marched along the same routes and you gave us protection. I have marched through Opera Square, through Makola, through the Bank of Ghana building. So we examined their arguments in the meeting and we established to them that the arguments were untenable. The only response they had for us at the meeting, Randy, was that yesterday is not the same as today.
Which is a legitimate
And we wanted to know what has made yesterday not the same as today. Because as far as we are concerned, today is better than yesterday. Because your numbers are more than yesterday's numbers. Your level of education today is more than yesterday, because today is today's experience plus yesterday's experience. And yesterday you policed a march along the same route. And today you should be guided by the experience of how you police the march, yesterday's route. In fact, at the meeting we told them that it would be a big disgrace for you to come out and tell the public that you can't even police a demonstration along this route.
The issue is that the police is not saying that they cannot police demonstration, but they are telling you that they cannot police the demonstration along the route that you are requesting.
Which they did yesterday.
Yes. Yesterday they policed.
No, why can't they?
Why can't they?
That's what I want to understand.
That is the explanation that the police service should be in a good position to provide to the demonstrator, and the demonstrators have right to accept or to reject those, and I believe they have provided, because we don't know the deployment of the police service for a period.
They didn't raise any issue of deployment. In fact, their affidavit, which they attach to their application to the court, has not raised any issue of deployment. Oh, there's Independence March and school children. In the past, we've tried to demonstrate, and then the police will tell us, oh, because there's an Independence March and we've deployed policemen to go and this and that, we can't move them. Sometimes we need to move them from the various regions to Accra to beef up the Accra numbers. We sit and analyze it. We are rational beings. We've run the country before. Don't behave like you are the only person who have run the country before.
The truth is that
the only reason is that there is a terrorism in Burkina Faso, and that there is a coup in Niger, and that another one happened in Mali, another one happened in Guinea. That's all. If you read the affidavit, that's all that they are saying.
The police have every reason to be circumspect of happenings around our neighboring countries, and to reasonably infer that if caution is not taken, if the public is not managed, if a group of people who are not happy with the government is given opportunity, as it were, unrestrained, to do whatever they like, it can degenerate to something else. They have every right to exercise caution, and it is part of their duty to prevent, crime. In fact, if they can forestall it, they have to. So what the police service is doing is the exercise of the abundance of caution in ensuring that our national security is not jeopardized. We can raise issue about what is your deployment. Let us know your deployment. You raise the issue about neighboring countries. Look, a combined force of your sub-region or your West African sub-region intervening in a country which demands the contribution of resources, including personnel, to the proportion of your capacity internal, does not take away your capacity to defend your internal country, or does not also make sure that because you have not got enough capacity, you should not have mutual responsibility, cooperation in the interest of security, in the interest of global or regional security. They are not substitute. So I think that any decision ECOWAS take, which requires governments.
I wasn't. Maybe you didn't get the.
Your point was that ECOWAS, you have capacity to contribute to ensuring that the security of ensuring that a government is taken out.
Yes.
Because you feel that the government is not legitimate, but you don't have capacity in your country to police ordinary democracy. That is your point.
I am sure that you appreciate what it takes to remove
another government
from
in their territory.
Military government in their territory.
With their army backing them and their populace backing them.
It is not a decision that the Ghana police.
When you host meetings, to pursue this agenda.
Yeah.
It won't attract terrorists.
Yes.
It will not be a danger. Nothing. It won't be a danger. But when people are going to demonstrate,
to hold your governor, central bank governor accountable.
Look, all those issues around us.
The police are not the
but when everybody is congregating on your land,
look, the police.
When you have a situation where Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea are threatening about Niger and what they will do. In fact, they are even threatening Nigeria.
Yeah.
You have absolutely no problem, irrespective of their proximity,
converging in Accra.
To allow for a convergence in Accra.
To plan how to remove them.
That one you don't have a
Who
problem.
says that the government is not mindful of any potential threat, being the country being used as the host for said discussion? That's not
so thank you. So the point I'm making is that
So
that is not to say the government is not mindful of any potential threat.
So the issue is that
And that's not to suggest that the government is not doing anything to prevent or to ameliorate or to mitigate that.
Chief, the point I'm making is that if my country, and I'm happy that my country can decide to do all these things and believe that it has the capacity
to promote democracy,
that it will do all these things, it will allow for the country to be used for convergence and everything, irrespective of the threats, and still be able to deal with it. I'm happy. I thank God for that. But the same country turns around to tell me that although it has the capacity to allow all these things and do all those things, when it comes to people demonstrating about Bank of Ghana and others, it is scared of the coups happening and the terrorist thing and all that.
We are not being fair to the police when we limit the whole discussion of the plethora of issues they raise to only the issue about potential security risks or terrorism. Okay, that is not the only reason the police profile for why they think that route should be changed. So I think that we may decide to focus on that, but that's not the only reason. They gave us a basket of reasons, including that you have mentioned. So we shouldn't limit it. So if they are giving all these potential reasons
but for the reasons that they are giving the court and asking the court to injunct, what are they telling the court? What's the reason they are giving the court?
They are telling the court that we are mindful of the right of people to demonstrate.
Yes.
We are also mindful of the fact that we have the duty to police the demonstrators, and not just the demonstrators, the general public.
Yes.
And mindful of this duty, we are not in a good position.
Why?
Now, because the routes chosen, one, they will cause public disorder, because in our estimation, in our experience, demonstration on such routes would cause traffic, would impede the right.
Which route in Accra?
would not cause traffic. They wanted us to start from Obra Sport. They wanted us to start from Obra Sport.
You should not take a measure that you know that, look, I can achieve the same goal, but with less traffic, with less public disorder. Okay? If you have that option, why don't you embrace that?
Okay.
So for me, there's position that we must, at all costs, we must follow that route. I think they must be sober in that particular position. Let us discuss. Let the police discuss with the demonstrators. Let the court, now that it's even in court, let the court determine whether or not the position by the police is. If the court so decide, we are a law-abiding country, the police should do whatever it takes to provide the security, mindful of the fact that if anything should happen, the police will be absolved of blame to some extent, because they had raised caution with that. Now we will all have responsibility to take the blame. But I'm sure that these demonstrators would be law-abiding. I have faith in them, and I have no reason, except some of them I cannot vouch for, and they cannot even vouch for some of the membership, because the people who come, I'm not sure Mr. Honorable Ayariga has got a full complement of the people who are coming. In fact, he's even suggesting that when they pass through the Makwala market, traders will come and join them. Traders, he has no clue about their background.
So they are violent people? Traders?
No, I'm saying that you have no clue. You don't.
Are you saying the traders are not violent people?
I'm saying that people from different walks of life will join your demonstration. People you have no inclination at all of their background.
Right.
So you must be mindful of that, and also take caution from the police to ensure that you have a peaceful demonstration.
All right. Okay. We'll leave it here. Unfortunately, we couldn't look at. Yesterday, a commissioner of police was before the parliamentary committee, and quite interesting things happened. But we need to link up to Cape Coast. What I'll probably do is that I'll play you excerpts of his appearance before the committee. I hear that it will continue today. And then we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll link up to Desi the Starboy, who's at Cape Coast for the Fetu Afashe. Thanks. Honorable Doc, for joining me.
Thank you so much, Randy.
Thank you very much.
It's refreshing to be back here.
Yes. Good to see you again.
Now you'll be back here on Fridays with Nana Akumia.
A tale for channel I share video we also a PENDREAM TV mpacho what share we adwuntwa bia wofa video yi no ho bia no send my 0277128777 0277128777 WhatsApp number no send your voice ne bra na bebo magana for nyina te wonka
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.